Okay, round two. So back in the same spot in the forestry and with something a little bit different this time. This is the Jeep Compass Trailhawk, and it's supposed to be a more off-road capable SUV. So when you're getting out into this stuff here, again, this is pretty simple terrain. It's exactly the same place I was with the MUX actually. It's supposed to be able to get through this stuff pretty well, so let's just have a quick look around and see what it's got. Right, so the Compass, obviously the wheels aren't as big because this is supposed to be able to do city duties pretty well as well. 225 60 R17s, Falcon tyres. They look like they've got a fair bit of decent grip on them. Obviously not real four-wheel drive stuff, but better anyway. Improved approacher and departure angles. So you can do a little bit of chin scraping maybe. Let's see what it's like under here. Still plastic, and there's steel right underneath there. I don't know if you can see that. The engine is a 2-litre turbo diesel through a 9-speed auto. It does say that it has low range, but it doesn't have a transfer case. So I guess that's one of the benefits of having so many gears in your transmission. You can have a nicely low gear to start with, and the benefit of that is with turbo diesels you can have a lot of torque down low, and that's what you need when you're off-road. You need to be able to get traction, and you need as much torque as you can get early on in case you get stuck in low speed stuff. Clearance wise it's okay. Again, but remember, this is not a full four-wheel drive. Well, it is four-wheel drive, but it's not supposed to be a proper hardcore off-road number. So let's give it a little bit of a bash. Well, let's not bash anything, but let's just take it down a trail, see how it goes. So one of the things I like about going off-road is the bush does not suffer fools lightly. So if you're not careful, if you don't think about what you're doing, you could very quickly end up in the shit. And I mean like right in it. So you've just got to take your time, watch what you're doing, particularly when you haven't got a rescue vehicle or a partner in crime to go with you, and just take it easy, particularly when I'm driving new cars like this where I haven't taken it off-road before. I know it's got a little bit of extra suspension travel, not a great deal, but I mean, again, like I was saying with the MUX, the real big difference usually is the suspension travel and how tough the suspension is, because you're obviously taking a lot bigger bumps than you normally do in a standard SUV, and that oscillation, the frequency of it going up and down really fast, and the larger impacts all adds additional heat into the suspension, and is quite often what leads to failures. I love how this thing keeps going off all the time. Can I make that shut up somehow? We'll just have to deal with it. Oh, shut up. Now, this trail isn't particularly challenging. It's probably not doing a lot of good for the paintwork. Oh, that's a big hole. I don't think I'll be going. Let's go in this little big hole. Let's just select mud. Don't think I'll be going around the big one, but let's just have a bit of a bo peep at it. Get this one. Okay, that was nice and easy. I think, yeah, again, this is what I'm talking about, where having a look and seeing what you got to go through on your own. Discretion is the better part of valor. Oh, by the way, I'd probably turn off the auto stop start as well, which is kind of a pain in the ass when you're in the bush. So look, a pretty short adventure at the moment. We'll see if we can find something else to go through, but in an all four-wheel drive, I probably would go through this without too much trouble. But you can see how deep these tracks are. These ruts are quite deep. This bit would probably be okay. If I put a wheel over there, I might, yeah, you could probably get away with it. But see this big mud chunk right here? You get your wheel on the wrong side of that and it will suck you into that hole. I don't know how deep that is. Plus, I don't know what it's like on the other side. Oh, you know what? Famous last words, but that doesn't look too bad. Yeah, let's give that. Yeah, okay, so that was actually kind of super easy. But the point still remains, make sure you get out and walk it if you're not sure. Because, well, look at all the traffic that's coming by to give you a hand. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. It went okay. Some of the tracks were easier than others, but the 2-litre turbo diesel was really good. With that 9-speed auto, I actually found when you put it in sand mud, it puts on 4-wheel drive lock, turns off traction control, and what do you know, it had heaps of traction. And I didn't get stuck even a little bit. I didn't even think about it. I didn't challenge it a great deal, same as with the MUX as well. You don't have somebody to hang out with you. Get out and walk the track if you're not sure, and if you're still not sure, don't do it. But yeah, actually impressed with how the Trailhawk held up. It did really good. So the other thing I like about the Compass Trailhawk, hang on, we're in an 80 zone here, slow down. It's got a lot of modern features you would find in any other SUV when you're looking at top spec type products. So smart cruise control, lane keeping assistance. I do find it's a little bit intrusive if you have smart cruise on around town. Well, let's just say don't, because it can be a little bit nervous. Same as a lot of cars that have active cruise control. If a car is coming out of a side street, either side, that can make the automatic cruise control panic a little bit. It'll like slow down and put the brakes on, and I do find that the warning for the automatic emergency braking is quite early in this as well. But aside from that, all the rest of the features are really good, and it's pretty quiet. Like, we're sitting on the highway here doing 110, now we're doing 80 now. It's very calm. 9-speed auto means that it doesn't have to work hard. We're sitting on 1500 RPM, and accordingly it is also quite efficient, and it's smaller than most other cars. Well, depends what segment you put it in. Now, this is supposed to be a compact SUV competing with things like the ASX. It's bigger than that. It's probably closer to a CX-5, which is on the smaller end of the medium SUV market. And this is quite light. It's like 1600 kilos or something, and that is good for everything. The only downside to it is you don't have as much luggage space as you have in something like a Tucson or Sportage, that sort of stuff. But really, the trade-off for it is it's quite good off-road. It's got good approach and departure angles. It's not too heavy, so it doesn't have to try and pull around all this additional weight for no benefit. It's just a really good, well-rounded product, and it's kept the footprint nice and small so that you can park it easy as well. So off-road and in the car park, very easy to maneuver. Steering is nice and direct. I mean, there's really not much to complain about aside from the emergency braking alert going off, which kind of drove me crazy. It's got stop-start, which is good in the city, but it's a little bit slow to respond, so I'd probably turn that off most of the time. Efficiency wise, we've got 5.8 litres per 100 k's between Sunny Coast and Brisbane, which is quite good, averaging around about 7 point something with a pretty mixed type of driving over the last week. Interior fit and finish. Look, the tricky thing is with American design stuff, Americans like things to look flashy, so there's lots of different textures and things in here that are all trying to make it look super fancy, and they are quite good. So you've got like the stitched dash looks good with the I don't know why they do a fake carbon fiber weave look and then don't cover it with, you know, carbon fiber is covered in clear, so it's nice and hard. That's the whole point of carbon fiber. But this fake looking weave, it's soft to the touch, which is nice, but it kind of defeats the purpose of making it look like carbon fiber weave. Whatever. The plastic looks like brushed aluminium, but it's shiny. It's obviously plastic. So those kinds of things, you know, if you try and fall for the illusion of, hey, that's not real aluminium and that's not real carbon fiber, you'll be disappointed. But if you're looking for that sort of stuff, you know, that's pretty expensive gear. You're not going to find that stuff in regular cars anyway. But aside from that, it looks pretty good. It's pretty comfy. I was kind of spoiled because I got straight out of the Lexus ES before I got in this. So immediately I was like, oh, diesel loud, you know, because it wasn't a silent hybrid. It doesn't have the super soft leather of the Lexus ES. But in reality, it is quite comfy and it's a good size and it's got good space. And also getting in and out of it is really easy because it's an SUV and you're a little bit higher off the ground. So in reality, this is a really good product. 50 grand seems like a lot for a compact SUV, but it's actually pretty cheap if you're looking at the smaller end of the medium SUVs. It's more maneuverable than things like the Tucson Sportage, and you can go off-road better than something like a CX-5. So it's really got, whether or not that's a narrow focus, I mean, everybody likes things that are a little bit easier to handle. But I think that's really its unique selling point, aside from the fact that you can actually go in the mud and come back out again. So yeah, it's a really compelling package if you take the time and go and have a look at it and drive it. I think a lot of people will not necessarily head to Jeep because the other things are more popular at the moment. But I think it's really worth a look. It's actually really good value, and it's a lot cheaper to get into than a top spec from most of the other brands in that medium SUV segment, and it's bigger than most of the brands in the compact SUV segment. And it looks kind of tough, a little bit tough, not super tough, but yeah, looks kind of cool.